Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live. My name's Luqman Shadrach, all the way from the Cape Town studios. Thanks for tuning in and watching us on channel 347 on Hilaal TV, as we do on what is today? Tuesday? Wednesday? I'm forgetting the days. We invite Fadwa Booley back in studio to chat to us about some great advice that she always passes to us and our viewers. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for joining us once again. It's been a while because
Welcome.
we've been away,
Yes.
and we missed
Jet
last
setting.
week's
Jet setting.
edition. Jet setting. We've all been jet setting. We covered BRICS. I know you were away as well in Johannesburg and some Durban as well.
Yes.
Okay. And successful trip?
Yes, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. The last edition that we had on Hilaal Live, we covered goal setting, we covered goals, and one of the messages that we got as well is when, people set goals, realistic goals, short-term, long-term, but that initiative, that process of goal setting sometimes can be very stressful.
Yes.
Do you often find that?
Yes. Look, when you're changing, right, now you've identified your goals. The first thing that's going to go through your mind is, how can I get there? Now the stress hormone that's known as cortisol will start surfacing, and then you will think like, I can't do this. This is the first thing that comes up. How am I going to do this? Right? Your body goes into stress mode. Now this impacts your endocrine system.
Right.
So most people that are on a trajectory of achieving their goals and working hard, what normally happens is they start picking up weight. I don't know if you've ever felt that. Because now with stress, people sometimes comfort eat. They're looking for the sweets, the chocolates, they're looking for grandma's food that makes them feel like so tired. And yeah, I experience that. When I go through stress, I'm looking for my chocolates and I pick up weight because of the cortisol hormone.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So now we're tapping into the adrenal glands. Now we need adrenaline to go. Okay. So if you have a plan and say, okay, once I do these goals, I need to have a plan in place, a stress plan in place. This is going out in nature, going out for walks, getting your energies, because now the creative juices are flowing, and that's going to create energy in your body.
Right.
So you need to get rid of the energy. And if you don't get rid of the energy, what's going to happen is it's going to start packing on. And that's why a lot of people, because our life has become stressful, a lot of people out there, especially women over the age of 25 now, it's become more prevalent, is the increase of insulin resistance.
Ooh.
Yes, because it's all part of the endocrine.
Okay.
And the main organ of that is your kidneys, which is your adrenal glands. So when you are in fight response all the time, going and constantly on the move, and especially people of high stress level jobs, you will see that they start picking up weight around the tummy, hips and bum areas.
Right.
Especially women and men. Men gets the bellies, right? Now, the endocrine and consisting of the adrenal glands, your body's pumping adrenaline so that you can go. Now imagine you're just going and going all the time. The liver will then create and squirt off in the body the cortisol hormone that is produced in the adrenal cortex of the adrenal glands. This is to combat and stabilize the adrenaline. But now what people do is they're so on the go all the time, so much adrenaline in the body and cortisol, and those two hormones are fighting, and then it impacts the pancreas. Now the insulin resistance happens. So every time when someone puts, especially insulin resistant people, they put carbohydrates in their body, the sweets, the chocolates, and the energy cool drinks, the energy drinks like the Energides and the Red Bulls and stuff. And then there's so much that the pancreas can't cope. And now what the pancreas do, they just turn a squirt of insulin. Eventually the body now turns it into fat and not use it as energy. Because there's too much glycogen in the liver, there's too much in the muscles, and now the body starts getting fatter and fatter and fatter.
Right.
So when I get the client to come in and they say, I have started picking up weight because I've started stressing, now I know where to look at. Then I check the cortisol hormone, I check the adrenal glands. I recommend then the homeopathic meds, and I say, okay, let's get these organs sorted out, and now we put you on a plan. Do some cold showers. Do some cold water dipping, right? Put your face in cold water, because then your parasympathetic nervous system switches on and your cortisol hormone comes down, and then you'll have much more energy to cope with your stress in the day.
Sure.
So there is a process that you can do.
Okay.
And
I see more recently people are taking ice baths, are dipping themselves in cold water. So that obviously has an effect on lowering the stress levels?
Yes, it does. Okay. Because what it does is, when you go into shock mode, have you ever tried it? A hot shower and you just put it on cold. Your whole body does this.
Yeah, sometimes mistakenly.
Elbow knocking the tap. But you put it on intentionally and you stand for as long as possible in that cold water. And at night, some clients say they can't sleep at night. I say, don't take a hot shower. Take a lukewarm to cold shower and you see how nicely you sleep. Because it calms the body totally down. So you've got a vagus nerve from the collarbone right to your pelvic bone, right? And in the vagus nerve, we store all our traumas and things. So when you're doing this motion, when you're putting that water on cold, especially on your back, and you're going, and if you're dipping in the ocean or in the pool, like, that shock your body gets, it actually releases the energy in your vagus nerve.
Wow.
That's why humming is good. Gargling is good, singing is good, getting the shaking, like the vibration for the vagus nerve. So it's all interlinked and it helps reduce the stress.
Wow. Okay, that's very interesting because years ago I had to train for Robben Island and I had to take cold showers to train because you couldn't get to the water as quick as I could. And mind you, it did, my day just ended up so amazingly well. Everything fell into place. My thoughts process fell into place as well, and so I can relate to that a little bit.
And so there was one, I was watching this one thing on, I think, Instagram or Facebook, and they said the closest energy is water, the closest feeling at least to God, right? And it made sense. Look at the seawater. How don't we feel when we in the seawater? How don't we feel after taking a nice shower, a swim? So the water is a great thing to cleanse of all the energies. Nice. Salt water is the best as well to add on because salt is something Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Your tears, your sweat and the salt water is very cleansing for any type of negative energy. Right. And any type of excess energy. So if you look at, I used to dip last year every day. I used to drop my kids at school and I used to go to Dalebrook and I used to get in that cold water. Rain or shine, I used to be in that water. Wow. And I tell you, my days would be totally different. I would be calm and I miss it now because, when I came back last year from Umrah and I went back to the ocean, I became quite ill because I must have picked up something in Makkah, I'm not sure. And then I was out of it for like 3 weeks with the chest and nose, and then it was Ramadan, so I didn't get to go regularly. But now I've put it back on my bucket list and said, okay, let's go back and dip. Dip again, inshallah.
So you've been traveling, you've been doing workshops as well.
Yes.
What's the feedback like when you do these workshops? Is it very different from province to province, age category?
Yes.
What is your feeling?
So the feeling in Johannesburg is more older women, right, that come, and the testimonial speaks for itself because the women say it was like I was speaking directly at them.
Nice.
So the workshops are set up in an amazing way, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is definitely in charge because that's what I do in Tahajjud to say, Allah, fill up the workshop and you send those who need to come and assist, that I can assist them. And then as I'm speaking, I'm setting intention as well. So before we start the workshop, I would say, set your intention, what you would like to receive from today's workshop.
Right.
So while I'm busy talking, I just get these downloads, speak about this, speak about that. And then when everybody walks out, everybody's question and intention was all answered.
Okay, that's nice. And do they walk away from these workshops, with less of a load on their shoulders?
Yes.
Do they give you feedback? What's been some of the feedback?
So the feedback is they feel much lighter. They feel more connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay.
They feel like they're not alone in this world with their problems and their stresses and
because that's
all those
the big
things.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting in a workshop and there's questions, people say, I just wanted to ask that same question. Somebody else will answer it. So many times I will get it that I'm in a break. Somebody will come to me and then they will tell me, and I say, can you keep that question for the workshop just in case somebody else wants to ask the same question and everybody else can learn, right? And so the feedback is what they love is the tools that I share. Okay. Because every workshop has a manual and every manual has an amount of tools that you can use. Okay. I don't ever want anybody to become dependent on me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take away tomorrow, right? And also dependency on someone that Allah or something Allah has created is a form of shirk. You can only ever be dependent on Allah.
Of course.
So I teach as much as I can and I impart that knowledge of tools because I've done the work.
Right.
So the tools that I do share is stuff that I've done on myself, stuff that has helped me heal, stuff that has helped me cope with life. Because life on earth is not child's play. Especially as an adult, I say many times, I wish I was just a child where I could just say, Mommy, I need this. Mommy, I need that.
We all wish those days would come back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The high school days and having the fun.
But now we're adulting.
And it's not all that fun. But alhamdulillah, At least I've got a fun job. At least I'm doing something that I love doing, passionate about it. So it's all about just understanding where someone else is at and say, look, try this method, try that method. Get your cortisol hormones down, increase your activity in nature, get some fresh air, take some cold baths, eat healthy, that type of thing, because it all impacts.
Of course.
It impacts everything. Now, especially after COVID, I've got the same thread in my therapy room as well, where people have no motivation. They can't finish their tasks like before. They will tell me something like, I could do all the stuff before, but my brain just feels like it can't cope.
Yeah, we all have those days as well. We're going to get into that after the break and maybe share some of those tools with us on our viewers could actually benefit from as well. You are still watching Hilaal live in studio. Fadwa Booley sharing with us exceptional advice around very important topics as well. Do join us after the break. You are still watching Hilaal live. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. I'm Lukman Shadrack from the Cape Town studios. Thanks for watching us on Channel 347. In studio, we have Fadwa Booley, who is chatting to us about goal settings, about how we stress about, putting these goals in place. And then most importantly, a lot of us went through quite a bit of trauma after COVID, during COVID, after COVID. And I don't think a lot of us managed to deal with that trauma as well. Fadwa, do you find that happening with your clients? I mean,
Yes.
what are the conversations around, have we addressed the trauma that most of us have been through?
No.
And of what COVID actually put us through?
Yeah, so COVID came, it wiped out so many loved ones. My father also passed away in the time of COVID. May Allah grant him Jannat al-Firdaus, inshallah, ameen. And what happened was we had to all just carry on. Life happened and we were so in trauma mode that we couldn't really grieve. And this happened with many, many, many clients that I get. So when they come in, they say, I've got so much brain fog. I can't cope like I used to. The workload is so much. So because they're working from home, there is no boundaries. There is no set timing, right? And the companies are saving, but what's happening I find with the clients' mental capacity is not the same, because you have to switch from mommy mode, wife mode to work mode. And now also what they're expecting in the workplace is you are at home and you have to do it, and most people are working till 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Absolutely.
Right, so it's taking an impact on their family life, it's taking an impact on their mental health. Mental health has become a big thing now.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Then you also get people in the workspace that just use the mental health as an escape. So they just say, oh no, mental health issues, I'll take off, and their work don't get done, and somebody else has to pick up the slack. So the people that's picking up the slack, their bodies are in high cortisol and adrenal burnout. So it's a burnout that we're dealing with. So in those cases, what I do with the clients, I tell them, get off from social media, do a complete detox. Because some of us wind down, I'm one of them, I wind down by scrolling at night because my mind is so full from the whole day, and all I need to do is just calm down the mind, and then I normally watch TikTok videos or watch something. But I noticed that when I'm not on TikTok and that's the social media, I did it 1 year Ramadan, where I didn't go on any social media activity, not at all, nothing. And I had the most peaceful Ramadan ever.
It was a social media fast, basically.
Yes, it was a social media fast. And also, my whole demeanor was calm.
Nice.
Because you're seeing people with their opinions, you're seeing stuff, and it actually gets us worked up.
Of course.
Yeah. And people don't realize how WhatsApp groups as well. I will advise people get off from WhatsApp groups, and you get all these messages, these good morning messages in the morning, and it's stimulation. And something I ask my clients quite regularly is that, would you allow 100 people to enter your bedroom in the morning before you even woken up or brushed your teeth? The answer is generally no. I said, by you switching on your phone, you're allowing about 100 people into your room. That's the energy of what's coming into your space.
Right.
So your bedroom must be your sacred space. You mustn't even charge your cell phone in your bedroom. You charge it in the kitchen or somewhere away because of the radiation. That also impacts your stress hormone, right? And then I would definitely say, with this whole COVID thing, we never had time to process. We never had time to actually breathe. We never had time. Some people are only recovering now financially. People have lost their jobs, very stressful. They've lost their jobs, they've lost loved ones, and the stress hormone has just increased.
Of course.
So the repercussions of all the stress, increase in diabetes, increase in autoimmune diseases, right? That has been prevalent as well.
Wow.
And And all I'm telling them is go back to basics and do a lot of stuff. Start resting again, start eating healthier, cut out your sugar. Sugar is the main thing that causes memory loss, brain fog. So it's your sugar, it's your carbohydrates, but those are the things that help us feel better.
Of course.
You eat a chocolate, you actually just feel better because chocolate reminds you of childhood comfort. Every single food you eat has got a metaphor behind why you're craving it, right? So when clients come to me and they say, I'm craving, I ask them what you're craving, they'll tell me, I'm craving maybe salted chips. Then I'll tell them, because you're going through frustration, because you need to bite the chips out of the molars, so you need that crunch in your body. And the salt, sometimes depression, right? Feeling down in the dumps. So salt instantly lifts you. So you'll find people like sour things again. So they need to regulate the nervous system. So sour worms, stuff like meatballs, the sour stuff. I like my China fruits and my boards, and I know when I'm stressed out, I look for those specific things like your vinegars and things, because it gives you a kickstart for your central nervous system. Right? And then people with burgers, and they just need to feel full. So you see, most obese people, what they do is their cravings are burgers, because they're feeling unfulfilled inside. And then I was watching this whole program on spiritual weight loss, and the guy asked, what are you waiting for? Why do you feel weighted? You're waiting for something. Why are you waiting to be authentic? So if you're in your authenticity, which is very hard to be authentic in our day and age because of all the social influences and societal norms, that when you're authentic, then you don't actually need protection. And the protection is the weight that we put on to protect ourselves from the outside world. So it all interlinks. So when I identify that, and when I help a client identify that, the aha moments go over, and then you see them start dropping weight, they start putting that energy into themselves. So with the COVID story and the backlash that we've been getting of our health especially, I say first to do is a detox. Detox of your sugar and detox of social media.
How do you actually know that you're going through a depression? I mean, it can probably present as something else. Alternatively, we also don't want to identify or acknowledge that we're actually going through that time of a depression.
Yes, so depression is when you're just feeling down, you can't access your happiness, don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning, just want to be alone. People invite you and you just don't feel like going out. There's times when I can't handle stimulation, and I'm using myself as an example, and I'll get invited to go somewhere. Before I used to be everywhere and I'll go and honor the invitation. Now I just feel, I ask my body, do you have the capacity to deal? Because sometimes you don't want to put up a fake smile and say, oh, everything is okay. You just want to be left alone. Right. I went out the weekend and my mind was far away. And my friend said, like, you're not here. And I said, yeah, I'm just trying to be present. But I was thinking of so many things, because I'm thinking of the week coming ahead, and I'm thinking a lot of stuff. So when, it's very difficult. You can't also just diagnose anybody with depression. But then again, it goes again back to the gut. The gut of what we're eating, because the gut and the brain is directly linked. And it's also when there's overload of parasites in the body. That's why I would encourage them also to do a good parasite cleanse out of the system, because the serotonin gets released in the gut, in the stomach area, and then your rest of your body feels good. Now, if you're not eating a good diet, you'll also feel down in the dumps.
Well, that's also true.
Yeah, because you'll feel tired, you'll feel exhausted. Your body has to now work extra hard to metabolize. But when you're eating lighter meals, healthier meals, it's easier to feel happier.
Right. Right.
And years ago, I did the Sleek Geek thing, where you only eat whole foods. And you can do it. You can check it online. You can call it the Whole 7. I think it's the Whole Foods, and then the Sleek Geek, where you don't eat anything that has been manufactured. Don't eat anything from a box, anything with preservatives in. And I did that, and I felt the healthiest ever. But obviously, our lifestyle, we get invited to functions all the time, and all the temptations with all the things, So when like Ramadan comes up, we make the biggest mistake by eating all the junk. I mean, the samosas and the pies and all the nice stuff. We can't resist it. Yes, we can't resist it. But we need to cleanse the body out as well.
Of course.
So a detox, like a nice parasite cleanse, sugar detox, social media detox, doing detox from some friendships as well, family members as well, because it all impacts the hormones, it all impacts our psyche, it impacts everything. So now we might just go quiet and say, and ask your body the question. We must be able to communicate with our body, and we must just trust the information that comes. you know, and I teach that in the workshops as well, to trust what information surfaces and just listen and write it down.
Okay.
Because we will negate it by saying, no, man, it can't be that. It's my imagination, you know?
So for this week's lesson, to tie up everything that we spoke about, and maybe give our viewers one goal they can work on.
Okay.
Maybe one specific area that they
Yes.
can concentrate on for the week, and we'll touch base next week to find out how that went.
Perfect. I will say, look at your detoxing that you can do, because we entered spring now. Let's detox. We're coming out of winter. We were hibernating. We were eating nicely.
True.
Now, let's honor our bodies to say, bodies, what would you like from me? And detox. So social media detox can be one of them. Give yourself only a certain amount of time on social media. If you just do it for 1 hour, do it for 1 hour for the day. That's it, right? Maybe reduce the sugar. Reduce the coffee, the caffeine, if that's the thing. A lot of people need it.
Okay. That's going to be difficult, but okay.
Challenging, right? And increase your water. And add salt to your water. 3 grains of sea salt, Celtic salt, or Himalayan salt. Just 3 on your tongue, so that the body can absorb. In your cells made up of water as well, but what happens is if there's not enough magnesium in the body, it's not going to pull the water into your cells.
Okay.
So if you put the salt on your tongue, and then the body will absorb the water into your cells.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
All right. So that's a good exercise for our viewers to, work on for the next week. And we can always touch base, and we'll open the WhatsApp line next week as well. And people can tell us how this exercise maybe influenced their lives.
Yes, inshallah.
Awesome. Fadwa, Jazakallah so much.
Jazakallah
All the
khair.
very best. Are you traveling?
Not
so
at
much.
the moment.
Okay,
No.
all right. Glad you're back in town as well. And we'll catch up with you next week.
Yes,
Have a great
inshallah.
evening, inshallah.
You too, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Like salam.
There we go, Fadwa Booley in studio, educating us on how to just live healthier mentally and with our bodies as well. And one of the lessons for this week is to detox mind, body, and soul. And inshallah, we'll open the WhatsApp lines next week, and you can always be part and share with us how that influenced your life. After the break, we chat to Yusuf Khan Dalwai. It's been a worrying topic about bullying in our beautiful country. So do look out for that right after the break. You are still watching Hilaal Live.